Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Down and Dirty with Dr. T. And today I have with me Jared Neutel. He's an entrepreneur with a rich background in strategy, communications, and problem solving. He's been in the tech space for over 12 years. He's grown and led both product and tech teams for 6 different companies and has started 2 successful ventures. He's bootstrapped Neutech. It's a senior software staff augmentation team that's crafted to directly address the needs of seed and Series A level companies. He's also co-founded Tixologi, which I think is super, super cool. It's a growing, fully venture-backed, blockchain-based ticketing platform. Jared, it is great to have you on the show. Are you ready to get down and dirty with us?
Let's get down and dirty. Thanks for having me.
Great, Jared. Okay, all right. So to get started, can you give me a glimpse into a day in your life? From the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, can you kind of map out what a day looks like?
Yeah, sure. Although some of this is not so glamorous and I'm not proud of all of my habits on a daily basis, but yes, I'm happy to peel back the curtain and share a bit. When I wake up in the morning, I hate that I have this habit. I'm actually trying actively to get rid of it. I grab my phone. That's the first thing I do. I wake up, I grab my phone, I turn off my alarm, and I check all my notifications to see, first I'll look at Slack, then I'll look at my email, then I'll look at my WhatsApp, then I'll look at my text messages. And, to put things into perspective, I'm usually awake every morning at 5:30 or 6 a.m. And I usually go to bed at 10 to 11 p.m., which again, I'm trying to change my sleeping habits as well. But from that standpoint, what really could have happened in 6 hours every evening when I go to bed from the time I wake up. But yet it's still my habit. I wake up, I look at my phone, I check my notifications. I make sure that, that the company hasn't burnt down in that 5 to 6 hours, right? And then, I'll usually look over. My wife is still usually sleeping for a little bit. I'll give her a kiss on her forehead. I'll get out of bed. I will get ready for work. And then I'll drive into the office. Now, with what I do, some people may even ask, why do I go into an office, right? Because I could be remote in this digital Zoom age, like we're on right now. But I like to have that separation between home and work as much as possible. So I drive into the office. I commute about 30 minutes to my office space, and then I start my day. I'm usually in meetings from 7 to 7:30 a.m. And I try and get out of the office no later than 5:30 or 6 p.m. And I'll typically have meetings nonstop between that time, maybe 15-20 minutes to grab a quick protein bar or something in between, or go to the restroom. Sometimes I've even asked clients, like, hey, can I have 5 minutes here just for a quick break? But I don't know why I do this to myself, but that's usually what my day consists of. And yeah, that's a good summary of it, I would say.
So what takes up most of your day?
I would say phone calls and meetings. I would garner. I typically am meeting with clients, leads, internal teams, right? So managers, engineers, making sure that everything is going well. They'll have questions and need fast decisions. And usually I'm able to provide quick decision making and problem solving for them. So I'll do that. And then at the end of my day, I didn't even get to this before. I when I leave work, I go to the gym. I'll come home, eat dinner with my wife. We have a no phone dinner, so I completely put it away. At least there's some boundaries, and then I'll try and wind down. But yeah, during my day, I'll spend most of it on Zoom, or on the phone. And then the later half of my day is typically more email. The less pressing stuff, that doesn't need immediate response. And then Slack is just sporadic in between things, I would say.
Got it. So what is your, just help me understand, let's backtrack a little bit. What exactly are you doing as someone who is founding and leading Neutech? So you mentioned you're in a lot of meetings. These meetings are virtual, right? You're on your phone, you're on Zoom, as you mentioned, you're checking emails. So what are your key responsibilities,
Yeah.
generally speaking?
Yeah, it's a great question. The most important thing that I have to do is making sure that, you know, the 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 wheels don't come off the track, right?
Hmm.
When you're building a company the size of mine at this stage, it's very important that system and processes are adhered to, and that things get done in the way that you plan them to be. So most of my day is making sure that that messaging and those systems are in place and working the way they should be, especially in the beginning stages of something getting put out there, right? So, for example, we've come up with recent processes that we've implemented, and I think all companies of all sizes are going to continually improve, right? So this seems to be something that will continuously be on my plate. Is making sure that, yes, I have project managers, and yes, I have operations leads, and yes, I have engineers, and yes, I have designers. Yes, I have all of these people that can help me with the work itself or managing the work itself. But it's my job to make sure that I'm setting my staff and my colleagues up for success, right? And if the processes I've put in place have issues, or if somebody's not adhering to them, it's my job to find those blind spots. One of my colleagues that I met at a VC event, actually, his name is Yoshi, one of the co-founders of Alpaca, really awesome fintech company. He told me, as founders, our job is really to not do 100% of the work, right? Which is inherently what I'm used to doing, and what the background I come from, is just try and do everything, right? And don't pawn off to somebody else what you can do yourself, and don't let work ethic get in the way of getting something done. And so what he told me was that you would much prefer to have 80% of the work done today, or at least have 80% of it done correctly today, than have 100% of it done correctly in 2 weeks, right? And so my job is not to do that 80% anymore, or at least I'm trying for it not to be. I want the people that I work with to take on as much work as they can and do it well 80% of the time. That's the basal level. It's the basal level expectation. And then my job becomes filling in that 20% for everybody, right? So that's kind of how I'm trying to reorient things, because going back to your question, what does my day to day look like? And how does my day change based off of what's going on as a founder? And really, it's ever changing based off of what problems have arisen, right? And has a process been broken? Is there an issue with how we do things? I'm constantly improving those types of things. That warrants more time, right? Oh, wow, a process that we thought was going to work correctly didn't work as expected. Why? Why is that? How can we improve it? Who do I need to involve to fix that? What is the solution? Is this solution going to work in all scenarios? Is it just this one finite point in time? How do I account for this one scenario moving forward? Then there's going to be things like, oh, a client has a deliverable that, maybe they changed their mind on what they wanted, and now they have a new deadline. Or maybe we have a curveball. They had a curveball from one of their clients thrown at them, and now we need to hop in and save the day, or not. Or maybe there was an issue that an engineer had, and maybe something is just more challenging than we'd estimated or expected it to be. How do we communicate that? So there's just a lot of nuance that goes into it. And, a lot of it is also then on the other side of that. That's more of the operations. Then it's, how do I continue filling my top of funnel, right? Who am I speaking with? How do I network and find ways to get myself out there, whereby maybe this person doesn't want Neutech services, but maybe they know somebody who does, right? And so how do I put myself in a position to expand my network and add value as much as altruistically as I possibly can, to build a genuine relationship with somebody, right? So whereby they might want to return the favor.
Yeah, operations and strategy is where you're spending your time, right? It's got to be a balance of both, because the wheels have to keep turning, and you're also kind of thinking about the direction in which you're going. not just keeping the wheels turning. So, okay, so that makes sense. So, Jared, tell me something. In this day to day, as you're juggling these different responsibilities as a founder, while at the same time trying to let go of some of that stuff and empower your team
Yeah.
to kind of take on more of that,
Yeah.
what are some challenges that you face at a personal level? Not
Sure.
company. I'm not just in the
Yeah.
company. I want to know for you, what are some maybe internal challenges or external challenges, inward facing or outward facing challenges that come to mind uh, as you try to execute your work on a day-to-day basis? As a founder, what are some challenges that come to mind?
Yeah. Great question. You're alluding to delegation, and how do I delegate in a way that makes me feel comfortable?
Mm,
And the real answer is it's very challenging. That
mm,
is probably one of my biggest challenges, but not. What's interesting is it's not all delegation is difficult to me. I have no
mm,
problem going to a
mm,
very incredible engineer
mm,
and asking them to code something, right?
mm,
I
mm,
can I code? Sure, it's been about 10 years since I've coded, but I can code. And I'm not very good anymore. I can promise you that. I have deep systems knowledge, but I'm not an engineer anymore. So why do I have no issue delegating complete autonomy over a product build, yet
mm,
I have challenges delegating other things? And the reason is I've thought about this deeply.
mm,
I have a difficult time delegating things to others where I feel as though if I were doing the work itself, I'd be doing it better.
mm,
And it's very hard for me to come to the realization of letting go, like, hey, it's okay, this person needs to get this done because you don't have the bandwidth anymore, Jared, to do this, right? And so you have to let it go and let them do it, or you're not going to be able to grow your business, right?
mm.
And I need to feel comfortable with mistakes happening. Going back to that 80-20 rule, 80% of they will get 80% of the decisions correct today versus me getting 100% of them correct in 2 weeks. What's better? It's better to have the 80% today. My job becomes the 20%, but it's very
Right.
hard when you're watching somebody do something in a way, especially if you're on the call or you're training them and they do something it's not their fault. They haven't, it's not like it's on purpose. It's not that it's that wrong. Maybe it's a small detail, but I'm like, man, that it's the small things, right? And it bothers me deeply. And it's so
Yeah.
challenging not to just jump in and take over, or
Yeah.
to take it off their plate and get it done correctly, right? Or wait for, I'm very proactive as a founder and as a person. So watching a problem unfold, knowing it's going to happen
Mm.
and having to let it happen to teach somebody else, it's a necessity, but it's challenging.
It is
and
challenging. Yeah.
and I would say that that's on the professional level, that's probably one of my biggest things I'm looking to improve on is feeling
Mm.
comfortable in letting go, of delegating tasks that I know that I would crush if I had the bandwidth to do them.
You know what I
um
find so refreshing, Jared, in what you're saying is we've all we all abide by and agree to the fact that you want to surround yourself with people who are better than you, right?
mhm,
In a lot of fields, many aspects of running a business. But we haven't really talked about the fact that you're also surrounding yourself with people who can take the load off of you.
right,
It's not that you can't do it, as you said. It's that you just have so much on your plate that you just need to share the bandwidth with someone who's probably equally skilled as you.
right, totally.
And that stuff, like delegating there, I feel the pain, man. Like I feel the challenge because I feel like I struggle with that as well. And it's not the same thing as working with someone who is just way ahead of you and you want to learn from them. Like delegation is just,
Right,
that's the wrong word. This is actually a teaching moment for you. Like when you tell them you do that
totally.
and you're observing them do it better,
Yeah.
faster, more efficiently. That's not the same thing. So I appreciate you sharing that point. And on the flip side, tell me, what are some enablers, internal or external, that allow you to be a better founder, a better manager, a better coordinator, whatever hat you need to put on any day?
Yeah. I've got two things which will be homage to how awesome I love how awesome my team is and how much I love them, right? Is the I make adjustments for them, but they also make adjustments for me. So I would say the number one enabler in my day to help me be the entrepreneur and the best entrepreneur and leader that I can be is working with people that you genuinely care about, right? Number one, because now it's not, you're not just doing it for yourself or your family, but you're doing it for them. And when things happen, you care about them, and you will stand up for one of your employees to a customer, or you will, go out of your way to help somebody learn and grow because you care about them and they care about you. So finding people that you actually enjoy working with, to me, is, in my team, I really feel as though they're my family, right? Like my extended family. Like I care about them deeply. I want to go visit them. Even internationally, I'm going to Brazil in 2 weeks. I'm going to be going to Uruguay for the head of my office, his wedding at the end of the year. So, it's, you go out of your way, and I don't do these things because I have to necessarily. It does help work, but it's because I want to spend time with my colleagues who have become my family and my friends. And so that helps a lot, because when I take meetings and I have to communicate a ton with my team, and with sometimes it's when there, especially if there's a fire or a problem going on, it's phone call after phone call, stress after stress, but you're doing it with people that you care about, and you're helping each other versus getting at each other's throats, right? It solves the problem faster. It makes it more enjoyable. So that enables me to be better. And then also, I would say my team adjusting their communication style to fit mine, and me adjusting mine to fit them. It's a huge enabler. I'm somebody that hates texting. I just hate texting. I hate emails. I hate texting. But yet at any given time, I've got 20 or 30 WhatsApps, 20 text messages, 1 or 200 emails that I have to get to. And even if I have a bit of time at the end of the day, it's a drag for me to, I don't know what it is. I'm so much more of a phone call person. Call me, or somebody will send me a text about a topic, and it's something that I could easily reply to in 5 minutes or 5 seconds and just text them back. But instead, I'll see the message and I'll just call them, right? And have the conversation right there. And then it's just how my brain works. And I know that not many people enjoy that, right? And so my team has adjusted to my communication style of, okay, Jared is going to call me. I know I'm going to send this message. I have to send this message. It's going to result in a phone call. I don't feel like this phone call, but I have to do it because that's how his brain works, right? And I would say, and I think that communication is honestly, even in what we do, and I think that this is just a general trait of the service industry, my business, your business. Communication is, and adjusting communication to fit the destination is just so paramount in making sure that work gets done correctly and keeps, from a customer success point of view. I don't think customers, of course they want things to get done, and they want great updates. But if you're communicating along the way and being open and transparent, fires aren't usually that big as long as you're communicating well. And
especially
I think
with a distributed team, like when you're working with people who are in different places, and the client is in a different place as well, so communication and kind of syncing up, I imagine, becomes paramount.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, in my opinion, I would much rather have an engineer that is a strong communicator and weaker in some sort of engineering discipline.
Interesting.
Than somebody that is extremely skilled but can't communicate, right? Because everything that we do comes down to making sure we understand what somebody wants, right? Psychologically, what is the client's problem that they're trying to solve?
Of course.
And what is that? How might that problem evolve through time? Right. And if we are just hopping in and doing task after task after task without thinking about how to communicate to them the solution that's going to fit today and tomorrow, right, and trying to be good listeners in understanding what they're trying to communicate to us, that will go much farther than efficiently writing a function, right? So
fair enough. Okay, so tell me this, Jared. If I, on any day, when you're juggling all of these things, these challenges, these enablers, the things you hate doing, texting,
Yeah.
being a boss, all of that. If I had to look over your shoulder and be like, okay, how does Jared keep it together? Like, what are those things on his device that he has open? I'm imagining you don't have WhatsApp open on your desktop. I mean, just because, or maybe you do because you're tracking it. You're tracking it. You may not
Right.
be responding to it. You're tracking it. But anyhow,
That's
my
right.
point is, what are some of those go-to apps or platforms, that you have open in order to just do your job every day? Not for better or for worse, just to do your job. What's open?
Sure. Yeah, great question. Other than Zoom or Google Meet, because that comes and goes with meetings, I would say
Mm.
I have two monitors, even looking at them right now.
Okay.
And I have four quadrants, one for each
Mm.
open application. On my far left, I have my Slack open. In my middle left, I have my emails.
Mm.
In my uh, middle right, where you are right now, is the active task I'm working on.
Okay.
So in this case, Zoom, right? Usually, or it'll be the website browser, or which is
Mm.
Arc, is what I use
Mm.
predominantly,
Mm.
which is an incredible tool. And then on the far right, I have my calendar open, which is usually I use now rebrand. It used to be Cron, but now rebranded to Notion Calendar. So those are what I use to run the day-to-day of my business, that are absolute necessities.
Wow, I find that so fascinating because just saying that gives me a sense of the priorities, right? I mean, you have
Yeah,
Slack for internal communication, right? And then you have Zoom. No, your second screen is emails. Then you have
yep,
your active work thing. Right now it's Zoom because we're on a Zoom call, but otherwise it'd be whatever
yep,
you're actively working on. And then you have your calendar, so you know how to orient yourself in the day based on
right.
what's coming up and going on. Okay, amazing. I love it. I love the structure of it. I can imagine you getting up every day. You're like, okay, what's gonna go into quadrant 3 today? Right now, let me
Yeah.
open Figma. Like it's
Yeah, you're
Figma's
starting to
turn.
learn how my brain works. Yeah, exactly.
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 Okay. So you have these things open. And so what are we going to get down and dirty with? Like like what's the topic? Which is that tool that you feel like you need to share it with other people who are listening because it's so cool, it's changed your life.
Yeah, sure. I could easily talk about all of them.
Yeah.
I could talk about how Superhuman has changed my life, and I could talk about how Notion Calendar has some really incredible features. But the one that I will share is actually my Arc browser. It's a newer product. This company called the Browser Company. I really love their business, not just for their product and how they're
Hmm.
innovating, which I could talk about too, but also I would say they are taking something similar to how Apple did this, right? You don't have to be the first innovator to change the world,
Hmm.
right? They are making a browser that, in my opinion, has changed my life, my work life, right? In keeping me organized. And so here we go. Browser company, if you're listening, here's the pitch, right? Here we go. Here's the elevator pitch. Have you ever had, I'm sure many people do, your Chrome open with a million tabs, right? And on different browsers all over the place, and you don't know where something is, what something is. It makes your computer go slower, right? What they've done is they've basically allowed me to put all of my tabs into folders, just like you would in your
Mm-hmm.
email.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter where I open my browser, whether that be on my phone or on my computer, all of my tabs are the same. So I could open
Hmm.
up 5 windows of Arc, right?
Hmm.
The Arc is the product from the browser
Hmm.
company.
Hmm.
I could open up 5 windows of Arc, but all of them have the same tabs. Maybe I have a different tab open at any given time,
Hmm.
on each one of them, but I can have everything will always be the same. So I can close it. And I know if I reopen it, it's going to be the same. They'll clear out tabs that haven't been looked at for 24 hours automatically. So they're gone. You can save tabs that you want. You can split screen things. So I could have a Google Meet open with whatever I'm looking at and share half of my browser so that somebody can only see what I want them to see.
Oh,
Um, it's really a fascinating and fun tool to use.
okay. So obviously, the first question that comes to mind is I use Chrome.
Yep.
I think Arc is only available for Apple devices right now, because
I
they have a
think that
wait list.
there's
They
a
have a wait
beta
list for
for,
Windows. Yeah,
yeah,
they have a wait list. I did check it out, so I do know that they have a wait list for that. But okay, I use Chrome, and Chrome has groups. I can put all my tabs under a single group, and I can see all my groups up top. If I want to split my screen, I can't do it at the browser level, but I could make the browser one screen, right? I mean, I can just split it and have something just like you talked about your quadrants, left and right, left and right. I can kind of do that at a screen level, not a browser level. So, um, tell me about, let's talk about like the folder thing. How does that, maybe a better way to do this is to do a screen share and for you to
sure.
just show me how that interaction is different from Chrome's interaction, because you're still grouping things together into something and then clicking on that group to see the tabs inside it.
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Wow,
Okay.
this is really clean. This is Arc?
This is Arc. Yep. So now let me just make it so that I can
Okay.
go full screen here.
It almost looks like a
Okay.
slim Slack.
Yeah, it's really helpful, right? So here's an example. I'll open up like interesting tools or my
Okay.
internal tools. These are just tabs that I can always have open or close. And I can click on one, for example, here it is. I can close it really
Hmm.
easily. I can open up my Google Drive. You can have like your shortcuts over here, right? So if I use DocuSign a lot, thank goodness, right? I'm signing contracts. QuickBooks, Bill.com for
Hmm.
billing, Pipeline, which is my CRM, Kinsta, which is my WordPress website server, Google Drive. So I can just click on one of these things, right?
So these are like bookmark bars, right? Like what you would have, that's akin to a bookmark, right? The stuff on the top. That's
Exactly,
how
but
I would, right.
it's very
It's
visual
laid
and
out
very easy.
differently. Yes, yes, yes.
And
You're right. You're
you
right.
can, if I want to like search something, everything is done with shortcuts on my keyboard. So I can literally just go
Hmm.
Command T for a new tab. I can go to Google, right? You know, oh,
Got it. So tell me something. So shortcuts, that's interesting. You also mentioned superhuman as something that you use. So you seem to be a keyboard shortcut guy. Am I right?
yeah, yeah, I would
Okay.
say so.
Okay. Okay. So Arc makes sense in that context, right? You now are, I mean, you're using two different products, both of which, a key USP of both of them is the fact that you can, and Notion, right? They all are, I mean, well, everything has keyboard shortcuts, but you can really move around. They've paid attention to shortcuts
Right.
as, an integral part of their product experience, right?
Totally. Now, let me ask you this. Do you usually go from one Chrome profile to another? Do you have multiple emails that you use on a day-to-day
Yes, I've
basis?
got like 8 or 9 Chrome profiles.
Okay. So another
Yeah.
thing that they do really nice is I can literally flip from one to the next just over here. So actually
Oh,
allow you to create different art boards, I think they call them, or art or workspaces or whatever. And this one
right,
is logged into my Neutech email. This one is logged
right.
into my personal email. This one is my Tixologi email.
Oh,
And so
nice.
anything that I do over here, right, is now Tixology specific. My Tixology email, my Tixology calendar, my Tixology Google Drive, and then I go back over here to a Neutech task, and it's just Neutech stuff. And it's all, so you don't have to flip, in Chrome or in Chrome, flipping profiles is kind of annoying. Now, one thing to note is
Hmm.
Arc is built on top of Chrome. So all of my synced information that is going to my Chrome or to my bookmarks or anything, my
Hmm.
saved passwords, it comes through here too automatically, and it will
Sweet.
save it back, so they sync between each other, right? So the onboarding was
Wow.
actually very easy. Now what's also interesting is if I pick up my cell phone and I were to go here to google.com, and you see like the tab just popped up over here, right? If
Hmm.
I open my phone, it will have google.com as a tab open for me as well. So all of
Cool.
my tabs will sync with me from my desktop to my cell phone on the go. So if I go home, if I'm leaving work, I want to go home, I have everything open that I was working on at work. It allows me here's one of the key things that it helps me do is
Mm,
I have a laptop I use at home and I have a
mm,
desktop that I use at work.
mm,
And if I need to go from one to the other,
mm.
it's seamless. I don't have to carry my laptop with me to work, or I don't have to carry my obviously my desktop home with me,
Right,
right? I
right,
can
right,
have my
right.
browser the way it is at work, be able to flip open my laptop and have it be exactly the way I remembered it right from work, which is really helpful.
Okay, so all the different things that you've pointed out, the stuff that you use a lot, I mean, you're navigating using shortcuts. You're using its
Yep.
multiple profile features because you have multiple profiles, you have different companies, you have a personal profile. So that the ability to swipe again using shortcuts without ever touching your mouse, I'm assuming, just flip, flip, flip is helpful. It's saving you time. You appreciate the fact that everything stays as is and it's synced up, right, across
Yep.
your devices. So would you say that these three are three big USPs of this product for you? Or are there other things that you use often? Not feature sets of Arc. I want to know, what do you find helpful? You mentioned three things. Is there anything else that you find helpful in particular?
I would say the main tools are, yeah, Slack, Superhuman, Arc, Notion Calendar.
Hmm,
Outside of that, and obviously WhatsApp and text and
hmm, hmm.
Zoom and applications like that, I could run my business on those couple of platforms.
Amazing.
Other than things like DocuSign and tools, but in
Hmm,
terms of actual programs that I run with, that I have open on my computer on a day to
hmm,
day, it's my browser. Yeah, my browser, my you know virtual communicator, whether that be Zoom, Google Meet, or
hmm,
Teams or whatever anyone uses.
hmm.
Uh, my calendar and my Slack. Other than that, I could I could I could do without if I had to.
Got it. And within
Oh,
Arc,
actually, I'll
it's
point out one
yeah,
other thing. My
yeah.
Google Drive. My Google
Google.
Drive is also
Okay.
obviously
Okay.
paramount, because for me to sync, I can sync contracts or anything I'm working on. I save nothing to my desktop. You'll see. If I were to show you my desktop right now, it's completely blank. I have nothing on
Hmm.
here. Never. And if I have something on there, I'll literally look at it at the end of the day. And if anything accidentally gets saved there, I'll delete it.
You'll delete it.
And
Okay.
everything goes into Google Drive so that it allows me to sync across multiple devices without having to think about it.
Which again makes sense for someone who is um, using multiple devices. You're on the move. Sometimes you have your laptop. Sometimes you're at office with your desktop. You have your phone on you. You check your phone multiple times in the day. So this
Yeah.
need and desire to have things synced up kind of makes sense in that context, right? Because you are looking at information in multiple spaces on multiple platforms. So
Yeah.
when it comes to Arc, um, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. It seems like it's one of these product inventions, right, so to speak, where people perhaps didn't know that they needed it till it showed
Sure.
up. Because
Yeah.
we had, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have, now that I've seen you talk about it, I didn't even know that there could be, or I couldn't even envision a different way
Right.
of browse. I mean, even a Mac browser, like a Safari browser, like I kind of know, what a Safari browser is going to look like. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of the same thing. It's a bar on the top, and you open your tabs, and it's got a bookmark bar. It's just on the side versus, it's not that different. This seems
Right.
dramatically like it seems like a slim Slack to me, like that the whole
Totally.
and that is also kind of reflecting where we are with product design, right? A lot of navigation is moving to the left long panel,
Hmm.
like to the panel on the left. That's where things are going. They're going vertical.
Right.
And the fact that this browser has also kind of made that navigation vertical is telling of,
Right.
where what the new norm is. What's the normative standard for how we want to navigate through complex tabs and things open on a single platform, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting observation. I didn't even think about how they put all their tabs on the left the same as Slack. I never made that comparison. But that's true. It's very true, because that is how I'm used to looking at messages. And now
Yeah.
I see my tabs the same way. In my brain, it's the same. I'm seeing the same thing again,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah.
is helpful.
Right.
So no, I think that's a really awesome observation. I think that what it really comes down to, Dr. T, is it's it's about keeping things as efficient and as
Yeah.
organized as possible, when as a founder and an entrepreneur, it is so easy to get disorganized, right? It's
Right.
just, there are so many. Somebody calls you, okay, now instead of just, they call me, they have something they want to get done, a new piece of work, whatever. Instead of just, okay, I got to write it down on a piece of paper and do that thing later, I have to, okay, I'm going to go into my CRM, I'm going to find that client, I'm going to I have to go through the process, right?
Yeah.
It's, if I don't do that, now you forget something by mistake, or something else, somebody else calls, and now you forgot about that other thing, and then they call, what happened? Oh, I forgot. Or you come up with some reason as to why you didn't get
Mm.
their task done. So what do I love about Arc? It allows me to keep track of everything. Everyone's on their browser all day. Whether it be, for me, it's not my emails, I'm superhuman, but I'm on my browser for most
Hmm.
things, right? Everyone is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so easy. I know so many people that literally have 50 tabs open. There is no way you know what the hell is in each of
Yeah.
those tabs. No way, right? But if you had a way to organize it and to prioritize things, it will make you that much more efficient, and have a sense of calm that I'm not disorganized, right? I
Right.
can
Right.
take tabs open that are for reading later and put them in a for reading later folder. Now I'm
Right. Right.
closing
Right.
those tabs when they're in that folder. Technically, I'm not
Yeah.
losing them if they're closed. Now my computer's
Right.
running faster. And every
Right.
time I open up a browser, I'm not like, oh, like, where was that one, like, Chrome
Yeah.
browser window open? Where was that one link? It's always there.
It's
It's
always
just
there.
something different open. And so it's just
Yeah.
organized. So it's just one less thing for me to keep track of. And it's
Right.
pretty important. Your browser is pretty important.
Yeah, yeah. And still having everything laid out for you. I mean, the point is, because it's a folder system, even though you've closed it and prioritized it, it's still there in buffet style for you to pick and choose and open it when you need to, right?
Right.
Otherwise, you would just close the tab, right? And I
Right.
mean, if it wasn't that important, you just wouldn't have it. The point is, you
Right.
want to have it to have that breadcrumb, that reminder of, hey, at some point, at some point, I
Right.
need to get to this. I just don't know when. I need to get to it. And this Arc allows you to do that. Are you also able to move tabs into, you said prioritizing. Can you actually
Oh
move?
yeah.
You can. Okay, that's kind of
Absolutely. You can
cool
make
because okay, that's pretty neat. Because again, it's a visual hierarchy. It's a top to bottom as opposed to a left to right on the top. So it already in our mind, our mental model for priority means higher up, right? Like just normally in our mind, we say priority
right.
means higher up, right?
Right.
And there is no higher up in a browser.
Right.
There are, even if there are groups as they have now in Chrome, there is no higher up. And here you do have a higher up, like literally
Yeah.
there's a design component to the to a higher up.
Yeah,
So
that's a really interesting observation. I completely agree with you, right? It does allow me. Now I organize my tabs alphabetically. That's just my
yeah.
system. So I'll have my folders
I love your
alphabetically.
ticks.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's yeah, they're very unique, right? I have all of my folders alphabetically. Although I think that I need to reorganize, because I've recently
Right.
made some folders and I think it got disorganized. So I actually noticed that on our that was the one thing I was looking at when I was showing him, like, oh, these are out of order. But no, I need to reorganize it. But that's typically how I do it, was when I'm
Right.
thinking, oh, this client, it's this client starts with a C.
Yeah.
Okay, I know exactly where to find what I need for them. Oh, this client,
Okay.
okay, there they are. It's under my O, like I go to the O's, there they are, boom. So instead of thinking of things in terms of priority, I think of them in terms of who it's for. But I feel
Okay.
like
Okay. Okay.
everybody, yeah,
Yeah, okay, listen, I got to ask you something I've not asked anybody on the show yet, but it's come to my
sure.
mind right now. Okay, because of like, you know, you and the way you look at things and the way you organize things and where your attention goes and what's important priorities to you. Um, Describe if Arc was watching this, right? And if you were to describe to Arc, based on your experience, who its ideal user is, how would you describe Arc's ideal user? Which is you. So if you had to say, someone, a lover, a fan, an Arc fan is someone who
Yeah.
describe you to Arc.
I'm somebody who has lots of tools and interesting articles and pages thrown at me constantly by different demographics of people, whether that be my wife, my clients, my friends, or my colleagues. And your tool has given me a way to prioritize and organize things in a way that is how my brain works, and it allows me to customize that experience. It allows me to keep things consolidated and organized when things are otherwise disorganized. It gets rid of things. I come from the mentality of, if I haven't looked at a tab in 2 weeks, it's clearly not important to me. And therefore they clear that out of my brain, right? They just get rid of the trash. They get rid of the excess for me, right? Which will not only help my computers function, right? Because every time you have a tab open, it actually does take up memory on your computer and makes things go slower in general. So people that have a million tabs open, their computers are typically slower, right? Until you close all the tabs. But they allow me, what my brain is usually so filled with so many different things in so many different directions. And the reason I love your product is because you make things easy, organized, and allow me to customize how I organize those things and gets rid of all the junk for me without me having to actively think about it, right? So it's an automated process of they are making decisions for me as somebody whose job is to make decisions, right?
That's kind of cool. Okay. Very cool. Love that. Love that. Yeah, and it makes sense because you need space to make decisions. And I mean, you need mental space, you need bandwidth to make decisions. And this is kind of helping you you're delegating the work to Arc, basically.
Right. It goes back to, some of these top CEOs, right? Not that I'm that, but so a lot of these top CEOs like Zuck or Steve Jobs, they truly believe in decision fatigue, and for example, I know for a fact Zuck did this. He wore the exact same outfit every single day, just a million of the same sweaters, a million of the same jeans. I know that Steve Jobs did this too with turtlenecks, right? He wore the exact same thing every day. Why? It's a small decision of what to wear. But if that decision is made consistently for you, that will save some mental RAM in his brain.
Makes sense.
Or her brain.
Makes sense.
Right. And so for me, maybe in this new day and age, maybe what to wear is not that much of a taxing chore for me. But having to say, do I want to read this later, or like what do I want to do with this, and like do I keep it in this tab over there? It's automated decision fatigue for me in a more active way than my clothing.
Got it. I love it. I think that very nicely encapsulates the value of Arc for you. Tell me, how did you discover Arc?
One of my close friends and colleagues, client as well, his name is Danny. Shout out Danny. He was using it, and he told me, he's like, yo, I know like I'm asking a big thing here because, no one likes to make a change especially something like Chrome, but I'm telling you, you got to use this browser. It's going to change your life. It changed mine. And he showed me all the features, the split screen, being able to share half of the screen, organizing the phone. I'm like, okay, like this seems kind of crazy, but I will give it a shot he's like, try it for 1 day, delete it after a day if you don't like it. And I was like, okay, for sure. It was free. It is still free. And so I downloaded it and I never deleted it. I used it ever since.
It took 1 day. That's it. It took one day.
1 day I was there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, 1 day. I invested the time. I invested 30-40 minutes just to get used to it.
Yeah.
But once it was all set up, it was good to go. I was there.
That's amazing. Is there anything else about Arc and how it has changed your your work style, given you space, or your ability to work. Forget your style of working, but also just ability to do work. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we haven't covered?
No, I feel like we covered it. I highly recommend the
Mm.
tool. And even if Arc isn't the tool, even if Arc isn't the tool
Yeah.
that particularly makes you feel like you helps you in your particular work style. I encourage all people to look at other tools to help them,
Mm.
you know, be more efficient, or help them make some of their decisions, or help facilitate some of the offloading some of the stress that they may otherwise have.
Mm.
Like, let technology do that for you, and be open to new ways of doing things to allow that to happen.
Amazing. Okay, so we have a rapid fire round that's left. Are
Okay,
you ready for the rapid fire round?
rapid fire, let's go.
Okay, first question. Name one item on your bucket list.
One item on my bucket list. Okay, to take a month off of what I'm doing in my life and just indulge myself in another country, in another culture, and live that life.
Okay, amazing. Which social media platform are you most active on?
LinkedIn.
What comes to mind when I say happiness?
My wife.
Do you own a vehicle?
Do I own a vehicle?
Yeah.
Yes, a car.
And what model and make?
Tesla Model 3.
Okay, awesome. Jared, that was it. I hope it was painless, and not only painless, it was fun, because it was definitely very revealing. And I feel like I've learned so much about you. I mean, we've been in touch, but this podcast has just opened up various facets that I'm finding very fascinating. So I
Oh,
really
good.
appreciate.
I hope in a good way.
In a very good way. And it all syncs up. I mean, the beauty of this conversation is, whoever you are, whatever you value, and what tools you use, they reflect that. They reflect those values. They reflect what's important to you. And that's kind of what, our conversation, it's just about a tool, but this tool speaks to how you need the mental space to focus on other things. And here's an enabler. It
Yeah.
allows you to do that. So I really appreciate you getting down and dirty with us, and sharing your insights.
Well, thank you for having me, and this was really, really fun. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Awesome, Jared. Have a good one, and I'm sure we're going to see each other around online.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. T. Take care.
Okay, bye bye.